Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to On the Mic with the M.
Auntie.
Before we get started with this, what we're going to talk about today, this is going to have a lot to deal with Diddy and some other things, but particularly domestic violence. Let me read you guys some statistics. So not to say that this is, a fly-by-night thing. No. 1 out of 3 women and 1 out of 7 men have been victims of domestic violence. 2, 20 people per minute are physically getting abused by an intimate partner as we speak. 3, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have been victims of physical violence by an intimate partner. 4, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 7 men have been victims of severe physical violence by an intimate partner. 5, 1 in 7 women and 1 in 18 men have been stalked by an intimate partner. 6, domestic violence accounts for 15% of all violent crimes in the US of A. 7, 72% of all murder-suicides involves an intimate partner. 94% of them are female. 8, domestic violence costs the U.S. economy $8.3 billion annually in medical expenses, lost productivity, and other costs. 9, 1 in 10 high school students have experienced physical dating violence. In 10, only 1/3 of domestic violence incidents are reported to the police. And all this information is coming from the FBI, from National Coalition of Domestic Violence, the Center of Disease Control and Prevention. I said all this to start this off by saying this is not an isolated incident. And while you listen to me, there's people getting abused, unnecessarily, men and women, by people. So this particular podcast is going to be delving deeper into that. And we're going to be talking about the whole Diddy and situation and the people who surrounded Diddy and them. So sit back, take notes, and we're just going to just jump into it. T.
All right, that was a mouthful. What was the last piece? It was 1/3 of incidents are reported.
1/3 are reported. So basically,
not most of them.
No.
Yeah.
So that means we are having this kind of violence happening minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day.
Right.
And so when people are like, "Oh, Diddy did this," I don't really care about Diddy. Diddy just happened to be a wealthy man who got caught doing the situation. But
yeah, he brings the situation's bringing light to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it gives us the reason to talk about it openly now.
Absolutely. But that doesn't change the fact there are people who are suffering this through this kind of abuse unnecessarily. I mean, and I hear people try to blame the victim. Why did she leave? And she ain't had to get her ass whipped like that. She could have just left. Better said than done. As we talked before.
Absolutely.
If you're dependent upon this abuser, and we're just gonna say he's an abuser. She's an abuser.
Yeah.
If you're saying I gotta take a little ass whip to stay in this house, and I have no other way of getting out of this house or surviving on my own,
that's too cut and dry.
It is.
That's so cut and dry. I think so many people try to make it out to be black and white when it's such a gray area. And then when you talk about someone who's dependent on them, there's levels to dependency, because if you look at abusive relationships that occur like in high school levels, right? There's a level of dependency that exists there, right? It's not like as if you all live together and you need that man to provide for you, but you do understand that girl or that guy who's ever being abused is choosing to stay there because there's something that continues to draw them there that they feel like, they need. So that level of dependency really changes and can be different for each situation. And I think that's fair for us to kind of respect the things that people feel like they need to hold on to, especially when someone else can't provide it.
Absolutely. I mean, if you have kids and you know that this person's paying all the bills, and I've heard this, not just, we're talking about, I've heard people say, well, you know what, if it takes me getting my ass whipped to keep them happy, at least I have food on the table.
I mean, that's just like the idea of being cheated on. Some people are like, nah, I'm going to just turned a blind eye because what needed to be done got done. You know, sometimes who's ever making the sacrifice going to continue to make the sacrifice, and that doesn't make it right. We're just exploring what's the thought process so that you can understand and respect the person who's going through it as you're trying to help that person out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me because we've been looking at everything, being like, oh, Diddy and all this. It's been a known secret that these things have happened. But it looks real bad when you come out and say, I never did such a thing, never ever did such a thing like that. And then the tape comes out, and all of a sudden you're sitting in some dark room talking about, I'm sorry, I didn't do it.
No. He was not sitting in no dark room. He was sitting in some short place.
Little cabana
same,
look like.
Same area.
little cabana.
So if you have seen this, he's sitting in the same area that Russell Simmons was sitting. When Russell Simmons did his whole spiel about how
we missed that. He should have.
He did. If you look at a photo of the background that Russell Simmons was sitting on, the same background that Diddy was sitting, they're very, very, very.
Oh wow!
It would be surprising if they weren't on some type of spiritual retreat in the middle of some insert location here. But my thing with Diddy is that I'm not mad that he beat on her, because obviously, like as we said before, like you kind of accept what you want to accept. You can lie about it. You can then come out and say, you know what? I'm sorry I did it. But don't get it twisted. We all understood the only reason you said I'm sorry is because the LAPD said we can't book you on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the LAPD said we could book you on it, you would have never heard Diddy come out and say I'm sorry.
Nope.
He wouldn't say shit about it.
He leave it to the lawyers.
Yeah, because speaking on it's gonna fuck your case up.
That's true. That's very true. And that's
why I'm like the apology rings hollow. Because the only reason that you're apologizing is because people found out about it. The only reason people found out about it is because they raided your house. Because you kept videotape. So a lot of people may or may not know that he received the videotape from the hotel once he committed the crime. He paid the $50K for the videotape. Cassie refers to this exact incident in the exact same detail in her lawsuit. Verbatim. And the video just supports it. The question lies in if you then do that, right, and you buy the videotape where the only piece of evidence of you doing this is that videotape, why would you not destroy it?
Well, I had a discussion, me and the producer had a discussion about that same question 2 days ago.
Okay.
And what I said, and he dropped his mouth, I said, Diddy's no different than a serial killer. Serial killers always kept a trophy of their victims, whether it's a lock of hair, some jewelry, maybe a hand, maybe something. So you'd be like, well, why the hell would I keep it? Because they wanted to reminisce over the abuse, the victim.
The power
and control. So he's no different than a serial killer. Only thing, he didn't kill her, he's just a serial abuser. But I guarantee you, she's not the only thing. That's not the only thing he's holding from a Cassie. It's probably some other things he has.
From multiple people.
Exactly.
There was always a conversation about Kim Porter, his former ex-girlfriend, her phone. She passed, she had a cell phone that no one could find. And it was always been assumed that Diddy had it. But there was no evidence. But when the raid happened, along with the lawsuit, it was determined that he did have that cell phone.
I missed that.
So, to your point, I'm just confirming that, like, there's probably more things like that. But if you paid attention to any of the lawsuits, it makes sense. Why would you, if you're trying to hide these things, you'll tape these things on random people's phones and not corral the data under one thing?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm going to take your phone. I'm going to go film myself doing freaky shit, and I'm just throw you your phone back. And so now
Come on,
you got videos and photos of all this shit, but I don't care.
Yeah, he's like cocky.
He's cocky because he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah, I'm untouchable.
Power and control. If everybody just sit back and think, the only reason Diddy and Epstein and Weinstein and all these other guys who got that power, got that money, they do it because of power control. They if you control the industry, you are the go-to person. You open and close doors. So if they say, hey, come in here and you want this role, you better get on your knees. You want this role, you better come on back here and do what you got to do. Now, some people say, you know what, I don't want it that bad. And they just get out the industry. Some people say, you know what, I want that success. So I got to get on my knees and do some things to be.
Yeah, see, but it's not, I don't think it's that cut and dry.
Because then that's where it gets, I think,
that's too easy. It's not that clean. Like the choice is not like just so yours. It's not like, hey, come back here if you want this role, I'll give it to you. Just do this.
No,
it's
more
hey,
like, well, you might be blackballed from the industry. You're trying to break in.
I don't even think it's like that. I think it's more like, hey, friend, let's hang out, let's turn up, let's have a good time. You want to try this? You want to try that? And then when you're all woozy and off your shit, now you got a new friend, playing with your body parts that you didn't know that he was even, had an appetite for. And now you're positioned like, you can't go tell nobody, you just the man with the master plan. And him still waiting for him to put me on. So what type of situation you really going to rattle out when you still waiting for that person to make you into a star or to make you make these millions that you thought that you was, supposed to have?
For all intents and purposes, should be able to obtain because you have the skill, the ability, the talent, the whatever. But I also feel like that's why it's hard for people to empathize with those who get abused in those things. Because what you said was very important.
Yeah.
You are gaining something from this.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
not you're getting abused and like it just is what it is. It's like, no, you're saying my comfort or my ability to be in this space is directly determined by accepting these terms and conditions.
Yeah.
And so I feel like a lot of people, it's hard to say, I feel bad for such and such, because, like, Cassie, no one should get stomped out in the room, anywhere, period.
Nowhere, nope.
But, like, if you see in the video, you could see she was scared. Even with no audio, you could just, her body language, you could tell. She was in a fetal position the moment he showed up. Because what else do you do when, like, this is, I guess, your regular everyday?
They're like a routine. Like, you don't know what to do. You know what's about to happen.
She knew what time I hate to say it like that, but she knew what time it was. So she balled up and said, let me protect what I can protect. But the problem is that with those, as we've had this conversation before the pod, with those bad moments of you getting beat up, there were good moments where you were having a great time flying around, getting insert things here, buying whatever, being able to do whatever.
Access to the lifestyle that you wanted.
And so it's hard to feel bad in some instances for people like that, because it wasn't like you just getting beat the fuck up to get beat the fuck up. Like you had a really good life while getting beat up. There's a lot of people who have terrible lives and get beat the fuck up.
Every
Those
day.
things I feel bad for.
I know you're not playing with him. Oh my God.
And somebody said, if I'm gonna get fucked by a nigga who's gonna buy me a Price 300 or a nigga who's gonna buy me a Phantom.
Oh. Ultimately, life boils down to choices, and some of those choices are hard.
And sometimes are gonna come with scrutiny.
Things that's gonna weigh heavy on you.
Absolutely.
And none of this stuff is cut and dry. It's like go be homeless or, not be homeless and allow a man to talk to you crazily or drag you up and down the stairs or, it's mental abuse. It's physical abuse. You might have to sign up and be there and accept or not accept. Yeah.
And have to
from a lot of stuff. You might have to.
Remember the movie Set It Off?
Yes.
Jada was in it. Remember it was the first of the month.
Stop playing with me.
Dude came knocking on the door.
I'm not.
You need that bill paid?
You talking about old boy who paid for the college. And he had to come collect for that tuition.
There you go.
Yeah, that was an abuse of power.
And she's like, why? Well, you know what this is?
Yeah.
You know what it's all about now?
Yeah.
You give me a little something?
She tried to scrub that up off of her as best as she could. But it was picking and choosing.
Yes.
It was picking and choosing. And a lot of people don't know that they're going to have to pick and choose until you in so deep. I don't think that you sign up with the intent that you're going to have to pick and choose so heavily.
I think some people don't pay attention. And I think people walk themselves into it.
Well, that's the idea of grooming. That's the idea of being groomed, that you're supposed to be blindsided when you're walking into these situations.
Yep.
Yeah,
because if I knew, I wouldn't do.
You can tell that's not going to work. So, like, prime example. You see here talking So, we got some bullshit on this pod.
Yeah,
like, oh, man, people just all of a sudden just get bamboozled and hoodwinked. No. Sometimes you think you are getting over, until you fuck around and find out that this nigga expected you to think you were getting over.
Yes,
yes, really were not.
Yes, that's part of the grooming.
Yes,
that's part of the
really
grooming.
Thought she was like, oh, I'm actually like, oh, he paying for tuition. I ain't gotta do shit. I went to school with a girl. She was saying like, oh, I had this guy. He pays my tuition out. I said, okay, what do you do for him? She's like, nothing. I said, now or ever. She said, ever. I said, what documentation says that? What
he was the grant giver. He was a little, she found herself a grant giver.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, so what piece of paper says to you, you owe this man nothing at all, period. He's just going to pay your college tuition.
How many essays did you write for this?
Exactly. Exactly. You ain't writing nothing. You ain't submitting nothing. Nigga just said, I got you. What do you think that's going to mean?
For the nothing. For the nothing.
Nigga just got, listen, nigga just got $40K to just drop on school.
Per year.
Just for the fuck of it?
Yeah.
Man, girl, you just so nice, and I have faith in you.
I just want to see you do well.
I just want to see you shine.
Yeah.
And you owe that nigga nothing. So we get 4 years deep. We graduate that nigga after graduation.
I'm not playing with this man.
Oh,
you like a bill collector 4 years later.
4 years later, he pulling up. Ooh, that's such and such. That's the guy that paid her tuition. So he's sitting there, her family's sitting there happy with her, and he's standing off in the sideline. He's not with her family because guess what? He's here to collect.
There you go.
And what he's collecting, y'all don't need to find out. So some people intentionally walk in to bad scenarios because they think the scenario is not as shitty as it could be. And I think she's one of those people, not Cassie, but the person I'm talking about, who walked into a shitty scenario. Like, I don't know what you owed that man, but you owed him something that you not having.
Wow, he don't know what was owed, but you ain't want to deliver on it.
You don't want to. I know you don't.
I think sometimes it's just more convenient to live in that fantasy life. Like, it don't work out, clearly. I'm not saying that it works out, but that fantasy lifestyle in the beginning, it feels good. We can't pretend like it doesn't feel good, And that's the certain level of respect that you have to give people when they're going through these things. Like, no, I get it. That shit was feeling good, but bitch, it's over.
It's over. I got receipts.
Yeah, like, it's done. And you got to make some hard choices. Like, you had a good go. You had a good time with old boy, whatever years y'all had up underneath y'all, you might have to take a little break till he get himself together and get the hell away from him before he really hurt some, or you hurt him. You got to sit down and have real conversations when you really in real shit. Because the real shit can hurt, your friends and your family.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing. When somebody's putting that kind of money out, we're talking about 4 years at that school, $160,000, $160,000, and you think he's just going to pat you in the back and say, good job.
Yeah, no, at that point, you need to sign on to whatever little situation we got going. You work for me.
Yes, I got keys to your house. Yeah. I'm going to come over there when I feel like coming over. Oh, yes.
You owe him something that you do not know. You cannot tell me. Somebody says to you, and I don't care who it is who's watching this podcast, I'm going to give you $160,000 for nothing. For nothing.
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Nothing.
And you're not my child.
I have no.
Not even your own kid.
I'm not related to you.
Yes.
I'm not.
Come on
you're
now.
not family.
Come on.
You're not my
Shit, I need to be taken care of when I'm older. If I didn't pay your private school tuition some 4 damn years, no.
4-year degree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to a non-public university. No.
A private.
Yeah, that's what I'm. No.
Buying textbooks and shit.
No.
Mm-hmm. Food.
Mom
It's probably more than that. It's probably closer to 4 years.
Plus
room and board.
Oh,
board.
That's 260 easy.
Yeah, everybody expects something.
Oh, without question.
But
yes.
that's what I'm saying is that like it's frustrating when you hear shit like that.
Now there is a green time in life. Come on, don't be too harsh on the women.
No,
you're green at some point. You're young and dumb. She was just coming into college.
If a guy sit there and say to you, "Look, man, somebody gave me $200,000." What? She just gave you $200K? Yeah. What you had to do for it?
Nothing.
Everyone's gonna look at that nigga like, so when he come by to you tomorrow and he go kick in the back door, and he don't mean no back door, don't call nobody.
Wow.
Because you're gonna sign up for something that you don't want. Mm-hmm. Because nobody gives you shit like that for free.
So you're saying you're not even allowed to be that green. That's, I think, what you're saying.
Not in the year 2024.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, I think the way, and I've had this conversation with you several times, the way we consider children with quotation marks, to me in this year is silly. Because kids are not the same kids as they were when I was a child, let alone when y'all were kids, let alone when y'all parents' kids were kids. We still have laws that treat children like, oh, this 13-year-old doesn't know no better. No, they do. You can't tell me a kid at 13 years old doesn't know that if you pull a trigger on somebody, he's going to die. You're not going to tell me that. Not in now. With all the information that kids can just scroll on the phone.
On their phone. When
they talking about middle school teachers watching their kids who they teach in middle school talking about sex, talking about something, I got condoms, talking about something she get hit in the bathroom.
But I don't think that the young boy you are at 13 is going to be the same guy with the reason and rationale at 28.
No. You're not going to be the same person, no. But you are going to, there's certain things you just know. So like, at 13 years old, I know that I don't want to have bodily fluids on my body. That feels terrible. I don't want to shit on myself because when you shit on yourself, it smells terrible. So when I have to take a dump, I'll make sure to go to the bathroom. So if you saw a 13-year-old boy shit himself, you'd be concerned.
Absolutely.
Because unless you are sick or you are sick,
are you shitting on yourself?
Why are you shitting on yourself? So if you didn't want to sit here and say that, like, oh, he didn't have a clue that he aimed his gun at somebody and he pulled the trigger and all of a sudden the guy died. Like, no, he should know that a gun kills people when you aim it and fire it at a human being. You should have never aimed a gun at somebody. So, no, we shouldn't be sitting here saying, like, oh, he's a kid. We got to be like, no, put that motherfucker in jail. He knows better.
They definitely need consequences.
There are instances where kids nowadays are not the same kids that we have written these laws around. I'm not saying nothing about relationships. I'm just saying just general knowledge is vastly different now compared to before. True. You pretending to be Bambi and not understanding that people are going to take advantage of people who do not protect them. That is a common thing that parents should be teaching their kids. We taught our kids before that, but for some reason it never stopped. So I'm thinking now we should probably start doubling down on that and saying, like, you need to know people don't give you shit just to give you shit. Regardless.
No, especially kids. And especially boys and girls.
Yes, I'm just saying, I'm like, because she was 8, so when we started school, 17, 18. Like, you're old enough to understand that no random nigga's just gonna give you money for nothing, for no reason. And he's not related to you.
No.
And he a family friend, kind of, sort of, maybe. But y'all not related like that. You only met him recently in the last couple of years. And all of a sudden, he just felt inspired to pay for your school. You don't know what you're going to school for. don't give a fuck. He's just gonna pay the bill.
All right,
like,
take
come
that.
on.
And think about
It's not hard to put two and two together, regardless of how smart or dumb you are. That something about it don't make sense.
You're gonna pay in the beginning or you're gonna pay in the end, but somehow you're gonna pay. You may not. And a lot of people say, you know what? I'll deal with it when it's time to deal with it. Right now, I'm gonna ride this horse until the horse dies. But the horse don't die. He just puts a hole in the horse's head, so the horse dead now. Get off the horse. Then you're gonna pay. You thought you're gonna ride until the horse died physically, like he's gonna.
I got some
Tell
time.
it wither away.
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put over. Now you're like, oh, I gotta deal with it. Yeah, you have to because he don't spend. Think about this, T. Who the fuck nowadays got $160,000, $200,000 sitting around? So I'm gonna spend on somebody I don't even know.
Yeah, no, that's unheard of. And that might be a little extreme too. That's unheard of. Like I'm not saying tuition don't get paid, but damn. Like, I don't know where she found him at. That's wild too.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't ask questions, because
No, I would have had all the questions.
see, but
that,
as a guy, what you
just
realize
for that one specifically.
See, in that scenario, I figured if you're so dumb that you sat here and explained this whole thing to me, and you didn't see the red flags that I saw, then what are we talking about?
It would have been pointless. It would have been pointless.
It's pointless to have this conversation with you. I'm wasting my time. So I'm going to save myself and my sanity, and I'm going to just walk away.
Wow, that's
I'm
fair.
going to let you have that. Because whenever he come cash this in, all I want to know is that, one, someone sent it to you. And two, I hope that I hope you remembered me and heard my voice in your head when I asked you, and you was going to give him nothing for this when you find out what the something is. I just want you to, damn, somebody did tell me that this was going to come with something.
Yep. And it happens. And she's a unique case. But these cases happen
across the board,
everywhere.
It's the idea that you're not paying attention. You're just not paying attention.
But T, who taught them? You should have reached 13 and said, well, mama never even said nothing like this could happen to me. Like, I'm just a pretty girl. He said he's just going to give me some money because I'm pretty. No, you should say, no, God's going to come to you and is going to say some crazy shit to you.
Yeah, it's not always money, though.
No,
it
could be time.
It's time. It's love. It's attention.
And that's what it's attention.
Yeah, it's so many different things. So I don't want us to just kind of delve in. Yeah.
No, I'm not wrong. How many times?
You done made me speechless. That took the words right away from you.
First off, that should be concerning to even think about how that sentence works. You are mature for your age, which means you're already young. You are younger than the maturity level in which you're currently displaying.
Yep.
When do you say that to somebody? You see a 21-year-old thinking you're mature for your age.
Come on.
If I say that to a 21-year-old, that seems like insulting. Yeah,
it would.
Like, damn, you're insulting. Like, what you mean? What did you expect me to be?
And it's so crazy you said that because growing up, you heard girls say, "You don't think I'm that old? They think I was like, or that young. I thought I was older." I said, "Oh, you believe that?" Yeah, couldn't believe I was this young, but that made me feel good. And I shake my head. So,
I can't stand it.
I'm like, oh my God. And just going to college.
Yeah.
You know, you get the seniors coming in and he's so infatuated by me. I'm sitting there thinking, and they're on the corner like,
ready.
We're setting her up. We're seasoning her right up. And next thing you know, she has to walk a shame. And it's all, I remember sponsoring a year in college. And then freshmen coming in and you stay on the sidewalk and watch. We're going to get that. We're going to holler at that. I don't know. And we see who you come with. If it's just you and your mama, oh, you got daddy? I don't have no daddy. Oh, we're going to be your daddy on campus. Because I'm going to show you around. I'm going to introduce you to my friends.
In other words, they're a little more vulnerable. Less life lessons taught.
Absolutely. And they're just picking you up. You're like some pimps in New York City watching you get off a bus from Nebraska, talking about, it's a brave new world. And you're like,
It's the same thing they say to you when you go anywhere. It said, especially when you go overseas, it's one of the first things they taught us when we went to Amsterdam. We had like a whole little tour guide. He walked us through the airport because he was saying, all right, we're going to hop on this flight to go to but the one thing he said is that, guys, you are American tourists, right? You don't know the area. There's nothing wrong with that. Do not look like an American tourist. And we're like, okay. They're like, they wear the same clothes you do. Mm-hmm. It's not about clothing. Just look like you fucking belong. Mm-hmm. Don't go staring around, stand in the middle of the fucking street, want to look up in the sky and stare at the buildings and say, damn, that's a pretty building. Mm-hmm. Don't go to church and say, wow, I've never been here before. This is, I can't believe
that's being a tourist. Yeah, they said don't.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
They said don't do that because you're setting yourself up. Mm-hmm. Because what that means is that somebody's going to be paying attention to you, and the moment you're lacking, they're going to get you.
Can you imagine going to New York doing that? Just get busted. Wow, this is New York.
Wow, this is New York. Let me go.
I think in certain areas where you're okay to be a tourist, you don't want to go out of those areas. You don't want to go out of those areas.
Times Square,
somebody. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Times Square be a tourist.
Get your little camera on your neck type of thing.
Don't go to the Bronx.
You go to the Bronx. Wow, this is where. Next thing you know, you on the dirt. Welcome to the Bronx. But that's what I'm saying is that, like, if you travel at all to anywhere else, they tell you that. Mm-hmm. They tell you that because they want you to protect yourself.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, you're putting a target on your back when you act like that.
Yes,
so
you are.
If we don't go out to another place, to another country that you really don't even know, and you're not sitting here being bubble-headed, why are you being bubble-headed in your own hometown? Why are you being bubble-headed for your own life? You can't be bubble-headed for your own life.
I think it's the idea that, you know, when you're hooking up with someone, mm-hmm. you want to be vulnerable with that person.
How vulnerable?
No, very vulnerable, right? Like if you love someone, mm-hmm. right? I want to be in love, right? I want someone to love me, mm-hmm. right? You know how vulnerable you really need to be with that person. Mm-hmm. But it's the idea that they earn that. Did they show themselves that you can be that vulnerable? Because once you just opened up that box, I mean, are you closing? Nah, let me put my layers back on. No, he already knows you. You know,
absolutely. And a lot of women, I'm just going to use women in particular. It's certain guys, a lot of guys could look at you and see where you lack.
And where you're vulnerable at.
Exactly.
You're wearing it on your sleeve. So even when you show up to the first date, you're leading with all those vulnerabilities because you're looking for someone to come in, you know, I'm going to say pay the tuition, so to speak.
Yes. Yes. And we're going to size you up and say, where do you fit in that? Or you nah, then you're not even going to try it. But if you like,
it's like you said, like, you're not even going to try it.
Yeah.
You're not even going to play. You're not even going to play a game with
no.
it. Because you're like, damn, she's not even going to fall for that.
Nope. Mm-hmm. And then
but I feel like even when those things happen, though, those guys will cut bait. Mm-hmm. Right? But flip that. Because guys also get played. Mm-hmm. We just get played because we have our nose up in that fucking air and say, damn, she fine. Mm-hmm. And damn, she fine overrides everything else.
But to the point where you're receiving abuse.
Oh, yes.
I'm abusing you. Am I abusing your pockets?
Beautiful women beat
Am I abusing your pockets or
all of it?
Oh, okay. So you getting beat down, money taken. Oh, you wanted that shit. You liked
because
it.
You wanted it.
No, you liked it. No, some men like it. That's what I'm convinced at this point.
I've heard a nigga say, I don't like being in a relationship if it's not toxic.
Yes! Some of y'all like that
some
shit.
People love
we don't want it though. We don't want no man taking all our money, dragging us up and down the street, black eye, cussing your daddy out. No, we don't want that shit. No. Nobody.
I wouldn't think you would want that shit either.
I wouldn't want to get your ass beat.
Toxic men need to stop that shit. No, nobody needs nobody beating on nobody.
No.
It's like, dog, why is that toxic? Toxicity should never be an admittable trait in a relationship.
Oh God, no.
You should not be like, damn, she toxic. And like it
and want it and be craving it. Like I need that. I think it's
I don't like when my girl okay with it.
I think it's a little bit like the thing that we refer to as toxic, right? It also is a little bit of the passion that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
So some men are, perhaps they're not referring to the toxicity, but to the passion side that person carries with them.
That is true. Some girls, got a little edge with them, and you're like, damn, I like a little edge.
Yeah, but she needs to redirect that edge someplace the hell else. Because it doesn't look good. Like, that should be all good because you feel like you can handle it, but then when it's a generation forward, and then you gotta watch your son or daughter doing that same tango, that shit don't look good no more. Like, you don't care how much you thought that woman was beautiful and attractive. You see a young lady doing that shit with your son, you're fucking disgusted. Get that woman about here. That's what the hell. Billy, you all of a woman. Get that trash about it here. All of a sudden, she's trash, and your mother would have never. My mama's just like that. Nah, son, I ain't teach you nothing like that. I remember this day in August when Mom did. Nah, son, you're remembering stuff wrong.
It's all you fucked up. So you don't want this for you.
No, you don't. And again, I think with society today, we see so much fucked up shit all the time that it's normal to see toxic shit.
No, we don't get to see the domestic violence side. Like, we get to see the TV show Cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see that straight up, right? We get to see
a little bullshit that show.
I was going to add in Law and Order SVU because you get to see the end to the shit, right? To the crazy shit. We don't really get to see, that nonsense we saw with Diddy. Like, you might see the end product of it, but watching it is heavy. Actually seeing that's heavy.
It is. And the worst thing, years ago, there was a young lady who worked with me. She was going through something like that. And you could tell the dude was like always clingy, always, motherfucker was always there. They're always there. Then,
so where's the there though? At the job?
At the job.
On her phone?
Lunchtime, he just pop. I said, where the fuck are you working?
He was bringing their lunch?
No, he was buying lunch. So he show up, hey, I'm
get
here.
His lunch?
Yep. And I never forget, me and my boy was just like, we say, you cool with him? He alright? Yeah, I'm just trying to train him how to be a man. So, okay. I said, first of all, you can't train a grown-ass man how to be a man. He should already be one when you met him.
See?
But if you're still training him. Yep.
I can fix
He got some problem. He had this problem. He had this issue. And all I kept hearing is like the glass. You remember the broken, shattered?
I said,
I said, okay, he's broken. What she talk? I said, oh, he's cracked. Oh, no, he's fucking shattered. And then I'll never forget the day he came by. This is way before, Cash App and stuff. She got paid. He came, knocked on the door, came in, just nice, sit down. Hey, you want to talk to him for a little bit? And I saw her put her book back in her purse, her checkbook. I said, did you write him a check? He needs some money. He need to get some clothes. He need to get some this. I said, now mind you, she's been dating this dude for, at that point, about a year. He stopped by. Well, he would need to get some clothes. He need to get some this. I said, well, what does he do? You know how it is for black men to get work nowadays. So I'm just trying to support him and all this. So me and my boy looked at each other and said, we black, we work, and we work men who is his age. So what's
I don't know nothing about that.
I don't know shit. I never had my woman give me money for shit. I give her money, but she said, well, you need something. No. So we had to have this real conversation where I said, does it do? When she said she come home, she got to fix dinner. She had to do the clothes. She had to clean the house. And I said, what the fuck does he do all day? She said, well,
wait for her to come home.
Pretty much. Or play games. The early part of gaming.
Oh yeah, when we had the outside and shit.
Exactly. So I said, girl, he using shit out you. And she was just like, no, he really loves me. I said, okay, just because he dropped dick on you don't mean that he loves you. That means he's giving you something he wants and something you want. But outside that, what else does he do? Well, he don't take my car to get the oils and stuff changed. I said, you do that? He said, in fact, he called me and said, your light came on the car. You probably didn't get your oil fixed.
Yeah, he don't got the money to get it done. How he gonna do that?
And I'm sitting there, and at that point, it changed. I said, okay. Her father wasn't in life.
Preferred, though. I think there's someone who prefer to be a mother to niggas.
It wasn't even like she was. It was just that she was doing what she normally would do. He didn't cost her much outside of what she normally was doing. Yeah, and there was things that she needed that he did provide for her. She didn't need nobody to pay them bills. See? In her mind.
The question is, what did she need?
She needed attention. She needed love. She needed passion. That's what a lot of these women are getting. No, this is facts.
Wow.
And that's what I'm saying.
So you'd rather allow this man to abuse you financially, and then when he's sitting inside his own space feeling less than a man, because now he go to reach to do, he can't go out to the bar with the boys because you know your money's tied up in bills and he just been slumming and he don't got no money. Those type of men start feeling a certain type of way. And that's when you get, men who spaz out under certain conditions.
Fix that whole sentence and fill the word.
Oh, well, male.
Yeah. Male. Yeah.
Those
males. Yeah, will get very uncomfortable in their own skin and self. See, a lot of men, they might start off doing everything right? And certain conditions going to lead them to act like a totally different man. Especially those conditions existing for a long time. You get a man who was employed, gainfully employed. 5 years down the road, that man still ain't got no job. You know what that feel like to be a man who used to be the man, and now you just ain't had. I mean, you treating your lady crazy, so she talking to you the worst way. You coming up short. You mad all the time. You don't feel like taking out the trash. You are depressed. You going through a lot, but because you're going through a lot, you now treating your lady crazily. Right?
Yeah.
So now what your lady doing? She treating you crazily right back.
Because she gonna look at you as dependent. Because you're not that guy.
Well, you are, and you're not respectful. Because you're in your feelings.
But that's the thing is that, like, just for anybody who might be in that scenario, there are things you can do to still fulfill some role. Like, the problem is that, like, people feel like if I can't provide the role that I'm comfortable with, then I can't provide anything. And that's just not true.
Or if I'm not providing financially, I'm no longer head of household. And you're not head of household because you're not conducting yourself as head of household.
Because you might not have a job. Let's say your girl got a job while you trying to find something. You can still, if you got kids, make sure everybody get up. Make sure everybody has a good ethics when they walk out the door. Making sure that if like some shit pop off at school, you first nigga there.
Yeah.
Because I might not be able to do this.
The biggest thing there is figuring out how to scale back while we, weather through this storm.
Yes.
Because I can't go make the money and figure out how to scale back here. Do something. Lead the household.
Pick up all the shit that you can pick up that, I got free time now.
Yeah.
So like go tackle the lawn. Go get the gutters clean. Go make sure the cars are straight. Go make sure the kids are like going and like doing their homework. You can be a benefit to your household without providing finances. Because
absolutely,
if you cannot benefit your household without providing finances, then why do we have stay-at-home moms? Everyone, there are people who have stay-at-home parents who can sit there and say, "My mother, without my stay-at-home mom, my life is not the same." Yeah, because she did all the other shit that wasn't done with that can't be done with money.
Yes.
The tasks that need to be done every day, like making sure you get your homework done, making sure you eat, you get showered, that you get to school on time. Whatever the fuck the case may be, you can pick up slack in your house if you choose to. If you choose to say, I don't have a job and I can't provide, so I'm just gonna do nothing.
And I am nothing.
And then you feel like
you allow depression to creep in and debilitate your self-worth. That comes out in all types of ways.
And that's a virtue statement.
You don't want to wake them kids up in the morning because you depressed. Now your ass is sad. Your sad ass can't get up. The kids always late to school. You ain't making no lunches or breakfast. I mean, I'll be mad too.
Yeah.
As a woman, you done had the audacity to catch depression, and I'm out here working hard doing all the tasks. No, let's all keep it together for the betterment of the family. But as a man men can't sit too still in that situation of just, you know, having the nothing, providing, especially when they've already was willing to go out and get it.
See, I'm gonna tell you a personal story.
Mm-hmm.
When the producer was a baby and the mom was home taking care of him, I worked in DC, and the company I worked for was going through some financial stuff. So I had drive up to DC. Got in there by 11 o'clock. They said, we want to talk to you and a couple other people. I said, okay. Money-wise, we're not doing well, so we have to lay you off tomorrow. Now, mind you, I have a 7-month-old, 8-month-old, and a wife who didn't have a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit there and was like, okay, we're going to give you severance pay and all that stuff. I said, okay. Then I had to call her. I said, can you come pick me up? Because at that time, I took a bus to DC.
Mm-hmm.
Can you come pick me up? She said, what happened? I said, lost my job. She said, oh my gosh, just come get me. When I got home, I said, she was like, what are we going to do? I got on the phone, I started calling temp agencies, mm-hmm. started calling everybody. I said, because I cannot be out of work mm-hmm. with a baby and a wife who's not working. So I got to do what I got to do. I done working like 3 temp jobs to keep things until I found something else.
Yeah, bringing in something other than nothing.
Wasn't nowhere near what I was making. Pissed off. I said, but you know what? That buys formula, that buys diapers, that mm-hmm. buys food, that keeps us in the apartment at the time. Mm-hmm. And was it hurtful? Yeah, it was hurtful. I said, because I did everything I could, but this company was so fucking sorry that it just went under. So I had to do something. I couldn't just say, well, I'm sitting here and woe is me. That wasn't going to happen.
Because it was if you don't provide for your family, then you're not providing for yourself.
Absolutely.
That thing going to eat you away. And I'm not saying, it don't hurt when a man go down, but it's the idea that you really do have to keep your mental space together. It's like a woman right after having a baby. Mm-hmm. That's why other women come around and keep people around her, because we know depression can creep in. Like that postpartum is real. Life is real.
Yes, it is.
But you got to do your part to actively work on things and educate yourself in certain realms to say, you know what, I'm gonna work on making sure that I don't fall a victim to, my own mental illnesses like that.
That is so true. It is so easy to fall into that. Mm-hmm. And then it's so easy for people to say, oh, you know what, you'll be all right. But in your head is like, unless I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, I'm not okay. Mm-hmm. And I can't be okay. I can't, go to bed every night and wake up in the morning and have nothing to look forward to.
Yeah, it's too hard. And then you talk about people getting angry. That's going to make you angry.
It does.
And when you're angry, you act out in certain type of ways. And
that's the thing. People don't know what to do with the anger. Mm-hmm. For me, it was like, yeah, I'm angry. This shit happened. I ain't got no time for it. So I need to put that anger towards getting something.
And solving the problem.
And solving the fucking problem. Because we can talk about the problems. We talk about problems all day long. Mm-hmm. How you solve it? Oh, I don't know about that. Well, take some of that, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that, and look what you do have, what you can do. Mm-hmm. And then come with a plan. Don't just sit there and, it's going to come out the sky. No, it's not going to come out the sky. You have to put the work in. We wish
that you could just wait, and the plans and the actions that you needed, the answers would just fall out the sky. Life would be just easier for us.
Yes.
But it doesn't. You got to go out there and figure it out. And then sometimes that don't work, and you got to go back to the drawing board and try something else out.
And that's what a lot of people, I tried it one time.
No, you got to try it several times. You're going to get more no's than yeses out here.
And that no should make you stronger to say, when I do get the yes, I want to make sure I ride it and make sure I don't put myself back in this situation again.
Absolutely.
It teaches that.
But the issue, I think, just on the job front to your point, at least with today's economy, you can do everything right and still get fired.
Absolutely.
You can be the best person in your company who can do something and still get fired.
Yep.
Well, the idea that today a lot of us are working with no cushion.
Oh,
because
no.
A lot of us are working with no cushion.
Yeah.
None.
And so, the idea that you just get fired and that you're in a workplace, a work environment where you can just be let go, and you don't got no cushion because you wanted to make sure you stack those shoes in your closet, or, you pop those bottles in the club, or, you bought that car that was a couple $100s too high, or you didn't work on your credit score to make sure you get a good interest rate before you bought that car type. Like, these are our choices.
Saying, like, when you're up to be ready for when you go down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest the issue nowadays that I don't think you can build, or you can't be frivolous nowadays as much as you could be before, because being frivolous is a detriment.
It can cost you dearly now.
It can cost you a lot nowadays.
Yeah.
Just because it'll fuck you over. There's no cushion, so you lay in that spot, you just hurt, and all those things that you were frivolous with, especially with everything going up. Like Netflix is like $25 now.
Well, how much is a stick of deodorant? Like, let's just be real.
$8.
About a tube of toothpaste, minimum $5 to $6 for a tube of toothpaste. Damn. Basic.
It's a lot of shit that adds up.
Yeah, that's true. You cannot go to the goddamn food market and spend less than $100. I don't give a damn if you're just buying canned food. You go up, it'll be a 101 point. I'm 10. What the fuck? Because things are constantly higher, which also people, you need to get your skill set up. You can't depend on one skill set anymore. You better learn something, because right now AI about to change everybody's world. And certain people, if you do it with hands, so you're fine, because you can't do locks with AI. You're good.
Oh no, I'm good. I'm all the way good. Yeah, no. We got more than one skill set in our life.
There you go. You have to. So now people are like, well, they don't do this to what women do. You better fucking figure it out. Every time I hear you complain and shit, get on the goddamn YouTube and Google and figure that goddamn shit out. Nobody want to hear about your sorrows.
Well, because there's so many things that you can do that it's like, if you choose to do nothing, that was your choice. Because we're telling you that, hey, certain things are going to be dated and it's no longer going to be lucrative anymore. And if you're like, but this is what I do, this is what I know how to. If you choose to sit right there, then that's what we call growing old. You know, and then you die. So you can sit back and grow old and die in the workplace if you want to, so to speak. But that would have been your choice.
Absolutely. And of course, that goes back to other people's choices. Like we're talking about choice about relationships. All these things are choices. So when you decide to get into that world, because if you decide to go roll with somebody like a fucking Puffy or anybody like that, you know there's a built-in fuckery in there. You just know they're gonna tell you up front, but you know if I deal with this motherfucker, something's gonna be. And you gotta say, am I open to? Do I want that much money to deal with the fuckery that's gonna come with it? And a lot of women think, you know what, it's not gonna be that bad until you're like, oh shit, until you run in.
I don't think they even think.
I don't think they think.
I think it's just, oh, this is cool.
I think it's the princess fairy tale that so many, have clinged to. Like that concept, you're really raised by that. I mean, think of the girls in the United States who are raised and groomed by Disney. Like,
yes.
We are like that.
Disney hoes out here. Like Disney raised a whole crop of princess ass bitches, bro.
No, but think about how old they are. Think about how old Cinderella is. Think about how, like, some of these movies came out.
Princess Jasmine.
Some of these movies came out like in the 50s.
Yes,
I mean, some before, like, come on, Cinderella is old.
Yes.
Little Mermaid. I think my mom was a little girl when that first came out.
In the 30s.
Like, some of these movies are so old, and in America, we've been brought up with this concept and this idea of this, not just any type of love, but like this love that comes with an exuberant amount of money, to where, it basically takes me from a regular life. But the fairy tale is achievable, right? God. And I just might be that one. And this guy is like everything on these shows, on these movies, right? I mean, he's got it all.
Yes, he does.
Like, he's
kind. He's all
kind.
All sixes. He's 6 feet. He got 6 inches. 6 million in the bank, bitch. Like, he's all. Do
you remember the Beast when he turned back into a man?
Oh,
they tried it.
Yes, they sure did. Yep.
That was swaggy as hell. Give me your ugly ass. That's why I like Shrek.
No.
It was still one of them old timey ass, like, oh, you find love,
but he was still the OG around the way.
He was an ogre, and she was a princess, and then she turned into an ogre.
Yes, she sure did.
To join that nigga, and she was still like, I like the when he was an ogre. Like, then that was some cool shit. Like,
That's what we should have been groomed on, something more humble.
Yep.
Something more humble as opposed to the
Yep.
other way around. I
Yep.
mean, even look at the Princess and the Frog.
Yeah.
Remember
Absolutely.
that? The girl, she just wanted this prince so bad.
Mhm.
And he had nothing.
Nothing at all.
He had nothing to offer. And it was just like the idea of getting a prince meant, I'm coming up in this world.
Yes.
Yeah, so the idea that the woman marries for the sake of a come up.
Mhm.
And once you think you got it, no, it is a safe space. Believe it or not, whatever sis jumped into the whip with old boy and felt like, nah, this is a safe space because he got it and he making me. I get it. I get it, sis. We all have been programmed to think and feel that. And especially you don't have a man working on you to remind you that shit is all false. You don't got no father sitting in the background reminding you, snatching Santa Clauses away from you, snatching those knights in shining armors right up. No, baby girl, that shit don't exist. No, baby girl, that's false.
That nigga's a demon.
Yeah,
That
poking
nigga should
fun
never
at
be
what
around my
Disney's
house.
trying to do. If that man don't exist in your life, then you really clinging on to this concept of a man. And so when he presents himself, like I said, when we have these conversations, just in order to respect the thought process that these women have, you have to understand, what we all grounded in.
Yeah.
And it is that fairy tale, that lust, that love, the idea that we're loving love.
Yeah.
Like, no, I just wanted to be in love. I ain't give a damn who was loving me.
Oh,
I just want to be a
Lord.
lot of people.
And T, the problem is nobody understands this. Life is balanced. If you're out of balance, you will never truly see what life should be. For instance, there's no perfect people. You have a good side, you have a bad side. You have to be able to balance the two together so that you're living a functional life.
But that's why you see that balance comes when? Later on in life.
Yes.
When you finally get to figure that thing out and you like, oh, here's the silver lining to life. It actually feels good now and I'm in control of me now and I don't have these desires for things that are false, for things that are materialistic on. Because you're right, sometimes we're putting ourselves in these situations where we're turning off the idea that you see the red flags. No, turn that off because I want shiny new stuff.
Absolutely.
Because I want to be on an airplane. So some of us not even on private jets and you still going to sign up. Shit, fly me in regular. Coach. Bitches, no, we going to Mexico. It could be basic, trips and whatnot.
Absolutely.
You're not even getting old girl treatments.
No, you're not going to Dubai or any place like that. Nope.
You signing up for just a regular situation. And sometimes even that, because you forget that that knight in shining armor doesn't exist, because you forget that this man is flawed, right? So you just start accepting certain things because you're just a little bit out. You're not balanced. You're out of whack.
There you go.
You're not there yet. You're still young.
You're young. And that goes back to the other thing I always say. Who are training these men and women? Because if you're finding out by the time you get in your 20s, things somebody should have taught you, you may not have understood it at 8 or 9, but somebody should at least hand you something so you say, oh, I've heard about that before. I'm familiar with that. But to be unfamiliar at 24, 25 is like somebody...
You hear shit all the time. This wasn't like you were hitting it.
I
feel like people tell you things all the time. It's just, who do you listen to for certain things? Because some people people give you information all the time. Sometimes the shit is just trash. They can't help you. You don't know who the fuck you're supposed to listen to.
Sometimes the information's not relatable yet.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not until a boy that knocked you upside your damn head when you like, oh.
That's what they meant when they say it. Yeah.
Sometimes it's not until you 6 months pregnant that joker done walk the hell up out of the door and then you saying it's on my
That is true. Because you put blinders on. You're like, it can't be that. Oh, that's not me. That's somebody else.
That's what our youth does to us. So when you say who's training and who's guiding, I mean, shoot, a lot of us is training and guiding. but what you're able to receive when you are given that training and given that guidance. Think about the grandmother who keeps sitting down those grandchildren and forcing them to read the Bible and dragging them to Sunday school and dragging them to church. You're not receiving all those lessons right there in that moment.
No.
Most of that stuff done went over your head. You done Rolodexed it to the back.
I see people who go to church every single Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, Monday.
It ain't till they 47 years old. And they pull that out of their bed and they're like, oh no. It's done. I'm done. You have mothers change their whole life around.
Yes.
That mean they got the cussing like a sailor and then, ain't said a cuss word ever since.
But that takes time.
They became enlightened. And all the training that you received before, you got it. You wasn't ready to receive it and to live in it.
And it's crazy because what I hear a lot of people say is things are different. I mean, what y'all did back then is different now. So no. The core of people never change. Times change, eras change. But the core of what a good person should be is always the same. You just have to know what a good person is. And you can't use society to tell you what a good person is. Society don't give a fuck. Society, if you fall in society and you fuck up, then they go, oh, we're going to brush you off. You're going to start over again. They're going to say, oh, you fucked up. Okay. If you on drugs, oh, well. You go to prison. There you go. So you need to look at society. What they tell you, it's not going to benefit you. It benefits society. It doesn't benefit you. You need to understand, what do I want? Which is a hard thing because we go back from the first episode where we talk about you have to know who you are to know what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept.
Yeah.
And even though time's getting hard as shit now, I could go here, but I should know that I'm gonna pay for it. Am I willing to pay for it? Okay, I may have to get my ass whipped or whatever, but is that really worth it? Basically, what you want is it worth getting your ass whipped? Get a new car or get some new clothes or be able to go to Dubai. Well, he choked me out a little bit, but I still got this Gucci. No, you have to have a sense of self. That we're really going back to people need to learn who they are. Not what society, not what your mama, not what your daddy, stepdad, whoever tells you. You need to know what's going to make me happy in this life. I can't have nobody put the hands on. If I don't put hands on nobody should put hands on me.
I mean, shoot, even if you are putting hands on somebody, that person needs to walk the hell away from you. Nobody deserves to be put hands on either way you slice the pie.
No.
Yeah, so if you and y'all playing that game, because that's one of the most dangerous games to play. I put my hands on you, then you put your hands back on me, then I put my hands back, and then I gotta go get cousin Ray because you got the best of me. And it's just like, this is a bad cycle. And who's seeing all this? Because I know you got to take them black eyes somewhere.
Yes.
Somebody's seeing this stuff.
Absolutely. And so now, with everybody out there, it's just like, you have to really, and there's people you're just going to listen to us and say, how do I get out the situation? First of all, you got to be able to say, it's not normal. When I put the hands on you is not a normal reaction, especially when you do anything. And
even the things before someone's putting their hands on you. The anger responses, they're probably not properly managed anger responses. You have to understand that the person that you're in love with, who you are looking to protect you, they're perhaps a little bit incapable now of even showing up for themselves because they're lacking self-control. And that might be some of the hardest things to kind of deal with, because Cassie and, I don't know how much love was in between them, right? But in situations where domestic violence does occur, there's a lot of love and there's a lot of time that can be entangled in those situations. So you have to understand that the person that you're in love with perhaps they're not capable of showing up for themselves, and you just sitting here eating this behavior, you're not helping them be their best self. I've never known someone who got into a fight and felt good about that fight after the situation.
No.
So even though you're hurt and that person did hurt you, they're probably hurting themselves.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So you staying in a situation where you selling yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
For whatever it is, whether it be, peace for your children, whether it be a home for your kids, whether it be stuff for yourself, you're doing a disservice for everybody in that situation for you to not have, a peaceful, prosperous, healthy relationship.
You did it again. Put it in a bowl. You put it in a bowl perfectly.
A little knot on it.
That is perfect. And hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
You hear it all the time, but it's a very true statement.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going through any situations, at the end of this podcast, we have different places you can go call for domestic violence and that type of stuff. So just protect yourselves out there, and you're loved. Just love yourself a little bit, because you don't want to end up in a situation like Cassie or the millions of other people out here that's going through this. So
or Diddy, because he's in a situation himself, and he don't want to be where he at.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Old boy not trying to be there, trying to clean it up, and there's no cleaning this shit up.
No, not enough Clorox, Ajax, any of that to clean this mess up. So people, go out there and live your life, live your full life, and don't allow somebody to beat it out of you. So with that, we're going to end this episode of On the Mic with the M
and T.
People, you know what you need to do. Hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell button so you can see when the next one is coming out. Until next time, peace and blessings.